Peace, family. I'd like to thank everybody for taking out time to watch this recap of the meeting. I'd like to thank everybody who called. We had about 10 to 12 people on that conference call, as well as about 10 to 12 people who couldn't make the call for whatever reason. I apologize for those inconveniences. I also have my 18-month son beside me, so if you hear him in the background, I want to apologize for that. But just want to give y'all a recap. This all was inspired by a Facebook post I made about joining or creating a Black Power movement within Birmingham. I had about 50 people respond. I inboxed them personally and told them about the 6 areas that I felt like was important into creating a movement. And today I kind of further expound on them and talked about practical ways we can get these things started as soon as possible. The 6 things I talked about was group economics, educational classes, physical training, weapons training, agriculture, and schooling for the children. We're going to talk about practical ways we can get all 6 of these things going under this umbrella, as well as reaching out with organizations that's already doing the same thing in our city. We don't want to recreate the wheel. If these organizations are about Black unity, Black empowerment, and we are about the same thing, then we'll be counter not to put our time or invest our time in these groups. So one of the areas, since we said was group economics, we're going to go, there's no specific area that's more important, because all 6 of these things must be sustained to have true Black empowerment. So one of the things we talked about was group economics, and we have a economics coordinator. We have Brother Benny Holmes, founder of the Black Business Network. He's a contractor, knows how to build houses. His wife is also an owner of Chabet's Boutique downtown, and he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to economic. So to begin our journey, he'll be our economic coordinator. He says by the next time we'll meet, he'll have a full strategic plan written out and be ready to present that for us. So we're very excited for that. We're looking for that to be Saturday. And also dealing with economics, as we talk about building partnerships with other groups, there's a group called the Black Economics Alliance. They're already in Birmingham, and the goal is to keep the dollar black, as well as give training in other avenues on how to create businesses and how we can sustain the Black dollar in our city. So with that being said, they have a meeting on March the 10th at 6 p.m. I'll come back and give y'all the location in the group. But I implore that all our members go to the Black Economics Alliance meeting on March the 10th, so we can hear about their economic plan, as well as have a follow-up with Brother Benny Holmes to talk about our group's initiative for our economic goals. Next, we're going to talk about educational classes. And notice that I have educational classes separate from schooling for the kids. When I talk about educational classes, I'm talking about knowledge itself, dealing with things like ancient African spirituality, just history, what is white supremacy, how do we counteract it. These are the main things I want to speak on in our educational bits. But we also be talking about things like how to grow food, how to create businesses, and things like food and diet. Ways that we can have videos for education is creating forums. Maybe we'll have different meetings to where we can have certain topics on the table and begin to have forums for them. I know some speakers, people like Dr. Umar Johnson, Professor Griff, just to name a few. We can also have people come in from out of town to give teachings. We could do a weekly podcast. I myself want to help facilitate the teaching. If there's any brother or sister that want to help us with creating these teachings, get with me, and we'll give you time or places where you can also begin to educate people in our group. So this is what we mean about educational classes. We want to pick that thing up as quick as possible. One of the key things we're going to do is physical training. We want every member to have a personal regimen. If you don't know exercises you can do, there's a brother in the organization who's actually a physical fitness trainer. He's a personal trainer. So maybe we can set you up with a consultation with the brother, and he can help you feel and find a personal regimen for yourself. And also, we want to have 2 days out the month to where we meet as a group, maybe at the park or something, to where we exercise together. Now, this is mandatory, but this is also team building and good ways for us to meet each other, as well as doing something that's necessary within ourselves, like the physical training. So we're going to get that going as soon as possible. I'm speaking with the brother, and we'll have dates for that. But until then, if you can have your own physical regimen, like I told you, if you're not aware of what to do, reach out to us, and we'll get back with you as soon as possible so you can begin your own personal regimen, as well as give you the days for our group training. Mazzani, come back, son. Come back, man. Watch cartoons. Also, we're going to go into our physical weapons training, which includes going to gun ranges, shooting at targets, tactical formations. We do have a couple brothers and sisters in the organization who has connections on teachers for that. I also know a couple of people that are out of town who are willing to come in and teach some of those classes. So I'm going to reach out to the good brother that was on the phone call who says that he knows some people who has an expertise in that field. So we can begin to work on that also as soon as possible. And we'll give you some follow-up updates on that. Next, we're going to get into agriculture. There's a brother by the name of Ricky D who has an aquaponics system that he had built from his own hands in Bessemer. I would like for us to take a chance so we can visit and see some of the things he does there to get our tires spinning, as well as other individuals with the space. Maybe as an organization, we could go in and create those aquaponics systems in different locations. For those of y'all that are not familiar with aquaponics, we can grow the food in about a third of the time. It doesn't take much space, but I'd like to implore that everybody in our organization does something in the field of agriculture. If it's not something as little as making a garden, because we know that there's food deserts. Our communities are literally food deserts where there's no place where you can get these fresh foods and vegetables. So we have every member participate in some form of agriculture. If it's not something as minimal as getting a 5-gallon drum, taking a 5-gallon drum, putting some soil in there and growing some stuff. I grew some stuff last year in these 5-gallon canisters, just so I can have first-hand knowledge on growing food. So we do have brothers like Ricky D. There's also a brother named Kushimir L. who deals with community gardens, who maybe if we were willing to help them, we're able to use some of that land. So as soon as possible, we want every member to work on growing some food and also trying to see how we can help. Also, our brother Benny Holmes, which is our economic coordinator, has 50 acres, but it's going to take hands-on work to get the land prepped. So for members who have the know-how, we want to get with you so we can get on that land. But I don't want to say too much about those 50 acres. Right now, I'll let the brother Benny Holmes get into that when he speaks to us next week. But we want people to start the beginning to grow so we can control a source of food within our community. Just keeping things brief. We're going to have more detail as we meet face to face. And one of the last things we want to get into is controlling schooling for our children. And one of the methods we want to use that is supporting Black Star Academy. We could also talk about alternative curriculums, but as I said earlier, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Black Star Academy is already in our city, and I know from inception, their goal is to control how we teach our children. It's open from preschool age to 12th grade. So if you know any child, or we have any children in our organization, we need to get them into Black Star Academy. On March 16th, I believe they'll have a meeting that's open to the public for people that want to know exactly what's going on there. I hate that everybody couldn't be in the conference call because the brother Benny Holmes is also a member of the school board there, and he gave a brief synopsis of what they're about and what they stand for. So please get back with us. Next Saturday, we're going to be back for another meeting. meeting face to face. We're going to put a poll up in the group, and the time that has the most votes is the time we'll structure our meeting to have our face to face meeting next Saturday. So like I said, we're going to focus on the 6 areas. The 6 areas, like I said, we're going to always add more if you feel like there's something that we neglected to add within the 6 areas. We're going to work on group economics. We got a follow-up meeting on March the 10th. I repeat, a follow-up meeting for that on March the 10th with the Birmingham Economic Alliance. I'll post it up. We're going to work on group economics, educational classes, physical training, weapons training, agriculture, and schooling for the kids. As long as we get these things going and self-sustain them long term, I feel like we can achieve the necessary goals that we're trying to do. So thank y'all for y'all time. I won't hold y'all much. If there's anything that you feel like we need to add, please add it here. Because I'm not talking to you, I'm talking with you. Don't bite your tongue. If there's something that we need to be doing, please address it here. Thank you for your time, family, and y'all have a great night. Peace.